Welcome everyone to the webinar tonight. My name is Andrew Squilari. I'm your host tonight, but I'm not your presenter tonight. I really want to help everyone understand a bit more about tokenized assets. It's a very big part of the future, and a lot of people are going to be really actively looking at learning more about this thing called tokenized assets and making it more available to the common folk like me and for the people who are rich and famous as well. So tonight, I'm very grateful to have Chris Tyson on. And tonight, Chris is a specialist in wealth creation. So Chris is going to go through why precious metals will boom. Now, I'm not a precious metals person. That's why Chris is on. I've invited Chris on to do a bit of a talk. And look, Chris is a wealth asset manager. He's got a history of asset wealth management many years ago. Back in the 2000s, he stopped being a spot trader. Now, I do a little bit of trading, so I know what a bull flag and a bear flag and a ascending and descending triangle and all that type of stuff does. Do I want to do that stuff? No, and obviously Chris doesn't either because he stopped that back 20 years ago. He's worked for some of the biggest wealth managing companies all over Australia, and he's acutely aware of what you need to do to have a balanced portfolio to generate long-term wealth. So I'm going to invite Chris to share his wisdom on precious metals like no one else can. So welcome to the webinar tonight, Chris. It's great that you're here, and I look forward to hearing some of the words of your wisdom about creating wealth with precious metals. Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, everyone. I might just quickly share my screen. Can you see the screen? Is it coming through? Not sure.
Not yet.
So is that presentation coming through now?
Started sharing. No, it's all no.
I should have probably worked this out before we started recording, couldn't I?
As with the world, tech is our world, and sometimes things go beautifully, and other times we just got to play with a few buttons and it'll all work eventually.
Okay, so here's what I'm sharing. You were sharing the screen. Let me redo it. Sorry, folks.
No problem. That happened to Steve on last Sunday. There it is.
There it is.
Perfect. Well done.
Why precious metal will boom. Look, so firstly, thanks, Andy, for the introduction. Yeah, just a bit of background for people. People know who I am, but as the head of sales at Dacxi. But just quickly, 20 years in wealth management. Before that, I was a currency trader, and yeah, maybe I wasn't that good when I looked at flags and all the like. But I mean, I've taken an interest since, and I guess one thing for me is that I like researching and I like finding things out. And when we started talking about this topic, and I was talking to Ed about precious metals, I was speaking about some of the things that I'm seeing, and all I'm really trying to do today is share it. So if I just quickly cover off of this page, the disclaimer page is really important in that it's just letting you know that I'm not really providing any advice other than just my own here. It doesn't constitute investment advice, and again, when you're actually looking for advice, you need to actually seek that through either a financial planner or an accountant. And again, as I said, this is just my view on what's happening in the markets. I've got down here big news. So look, as many of you know, Dacxi has now partnered with ABC Bullion, and we came out end of last week through the media, and we spoke about that. And it's got us in at Dacxi considering, I guess, the precious metal market and how that looks moving forward. Some of the basic facts about what's happening in the world today. We know that there's lots of issues globally from a financial perspective. We know, with the COVID pandemic, it's created holes in each of the global countries' financials. As part of that, we're seeing global inflation rocket across the globe, and Australia is no different. If you've seen recently in the news, the local banks have raised interest rates, even though the government haven't done so just yet. They're doing so in anticipation of the central banks having to raise interest rates to combat this inflation discussion. And the thing about inflation, and one of the key factors in driving the price of precious metals and gold, as an example, is the fact that inflation or higher inflation drives gold prices. So if inflation drives and is rocketing, then of course inflation is going to drive gold in a similar fashion. Well, that's proven that that's the case. A couple of slides there are talking about, and the slides are the last couple of days. So from the Wall Street Journal and also CNBC, what they're doing is they're talking about gold today reaching near their highs. So I think gold sitting around about $18.50 US dollars per ounce, and they're close to all-time highs. And there's big talk about what the next what the next look for gold is. And again, Andrew talked about it before. We've done a little bit of charting, and this is just an example of where the current gold price is today and the chart that's formed recently. What you're seeing there, and Andrew mentioned it before, it's just a flag. So I guess you can see we've done the diagram, but you can see how it's formed a flag, and you can see on the top side of the graph that it's actually breached that trend line. This is probably another example of the same graph, but on a much broader scale. The other one was a candlestick graph. This is just a line graph. And there you can actually see that it actually has, again, breached that flag. And it's actually sitting along like a table line. And for me personally, I think it's a significant opportunity for everyone to consider that this is an opportunity for gold to increase over the next couple of years. And is this considered to be a multi-year wave? I personally think that's a real opportunity at the moment. And again, as Andrew said, I'm not necessarily saying that everything should be shipped into precious metals. I'm saying that all these things would make a normal investor consider that precious metals should be part of your overall portfolio. We all know about cryptocurrencies, and that in 2021, or since January 1st, Bitcoin's up over 200%. There's a lot of talk, or has always been the talk about Bitcoin being a crypto gold. I guess I'm asking the question, what are some of the predictions beyond today about what gold and precious metals are going to do? And again, there's lots of talk. I mentioned about gold being about $18.50 today. There's lots of talk that we might see that gold prices rise in excess of 3,000 US dollars an ounce over the next 3 to 5 years. And I can certainly show you a dozen, because people who talk about that as a language. Maybe I'm pitching it high, but I'm actually pretty excited about. What I'm also too excited about is Dacxi. So tokenization, as you all know, has allowed, I guess, everyday Australians or everyday customers of Dacxi to purchase metals without actually having to buy the physical metal. We're one of only several companies in Australia that do it. We think it's a very unique opportunity for everyone, and again, we think it makes things easier for people to buy. Many of you have seen this slide before. It talks about, I guess, our precious metal bundle. At Dacxi, we again think that bundles are proven. We think that they're proven because of things like diversification, in particular, convenience when it comes to precious metals. You can see that on the chart. It talks about the holdings of gold, being 2/3 of the portfolio. Again, that's just for us. I guess it's an important weighting, and I guess it's important when we think about what other coins we need to have in there. Platinum being only a small portion, but still a very important portion of the bundle. Again, this is a slide that came out in the last week, a communication about the partnership arrangement with ABC Bullion. It talks a lot about the security that we think is really important, and why it is we've chosen ABC Bullion. The metals are backed by ABC. They're held in storage, and they're independently verified on a monthly basis, so that people know that we're actually holding the same value in storage with ABC Bullion. There's a great picture of Ian Lowe, of course. If you haven't already seen it already on the Dacxi Learn page, you can actually watch this video. It's a minute and a half video of Bristol in New Zealand, and she talks about I guess the Dacxi bundle, and we talk about why we think gold and precious metals are important. For me, that's about it. Like I try to race through the slides because I know there's plenty of opportunities for us to talk about it. But I guess for me, based on what I see, based on what I think is important when it comes to diversifying your investments, there's absolutely a real opportunity for people today to consider precious metals, and we think that Dacxi as a company is there to help. So I guess for me, Andy, that's about it for me. I hope that's sort of giving people enough information to learn more about it.
Fantastic, Chris. Look, if anyone watching this video that wants to know about tokenized assets, especially within precious metals, make sure you reach out to the person that invited you to watch the webinar or this recording and learn more about tokenized assets and precious metals. And hopefully you look at the diverse portfolio of the precious metal bundle offered by Dacxi. Thanks a lot for that. Wish you well. Take care. Bye-bye.